What's up, nerds? Before we get into today's video all about Baron Zemo, how would you like to win your very own Baron Zemo Funko Pop? To be entered to win, all you have to do is interact with us here on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, or interact with us on social media at WeThemNerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll be announcing a winner at the end of this inaugural season of the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All right, nerds, let's get into it. Baron Zemo is a villain in Marvel Comics who first debuted in 1964 as an adversary of Captain America and the Avengers. Baron Zemo isn't technically one person, but a title handed down as the Barony of Zemo. The Baron Zemo most of us have come to know and hate is Helmut Zemo, but we've also known his father Heinrich Zemo in the comics. None of the Barons Zemo have had any innate superhuman powers. Known mostly for their gifted intellect, excellent marksmanship skills, superior leadership ability, and scientific expertise, the men known as Zemo have historically relied on superpowered allies to do their dirty work. The current Zemo, Helmut, has had possession of the Moonstones, gifting him powers such as phasing, spatial warps, flight, and more, but those powers are fully dependent upon Zemo having possession of the stones. Otherwise, he's just a really smart, really mean guy. Heinrich Zemo, the first Zemo introduced to us in the comics, was a top scientist for the Nazis during World War II and fought against both Captain America and the Howling Commandos in the European theater. Heinrich used a death ray that killed hundreds of innocent German civilians, making him a reviled mass murderer even amongst his own people. To achieve a level of anonymity, Zemo began wearing a pinkish-red hood, which is now synonymous with the Baron Zemo character. In the comics, Heinrich actually has an accident with a substance called Adhesive X that permanently attached the hood to his face. Adhesive X was also associated with a villain called Paste Pot Pete, later known as the Trapster. Jeez, what a terrible name. Anyway, Heinrich Zemo would die in an avalanche during a battle with Captain America, but his son Helmut Zemo would take up the mantle and become the Baron Zemo we've known in the comics for the last few decades. He is also the Zemo we've come to know in the MCU, first in Captain America Civil War, and now in the upcoming Falcon and the Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus. The current comic iteration of Baron Zemo learned to be a racist Nazi piece of trash from his dad. And his whole tenure in the comics has been all about one of two things. One, avenging his father's death by trying to kill Captain America. And two, doing grimy, crimey Nazi stuff. He rocks the pinkish red hood like his dad, but it's not just a familial homage. This Zemo fell into a vat of the aforementioned Adhesive X, becoming hideously scarred. He was trained under the Nazi piece of trash tree by the king Nazi piece of trash himself, the Red Skull. I'm sure they just sat around talking about how much they hated Captain America, and America in general, and basically anyone who's not a Nazi, probably. In one of Zemo's most memorable comic arcs, he and his team of supervillains, the Masters of Evil, posed as a group of heroes called the Thunderbolts. The group included perennial Spider-Man foe the Beetle, now masquerading as Mach 1, and Screaming Mimi, who became known as Songbird. During the Marvel Universe-wide decimation at the hands of the being Onslaught, both the Fantastic Four and the Avengers were seemingly destroyed before Zemo's plan could come to fruition. Seeing this as an opportunity, the Thunderbolts acted as heroes to gain the public's trust and to access sensitive government intel. Unexpectedly, most of Zemo's team came to relish their role as heroes. Before Zemo could leverage the team's role and establish world domination, the Fantastic Four returned, and the Thunderbolts decided they would rather continue being heroes, especially now with the Fantastic Four standing between them and Zemo's nefarious plot. Zemo, ever the consummate villain, leaked the true villainous identities of the Thunderbolts to the world in an attempt to prevent them from becoming trusted heroes and to secure their loyalty to Zemo's criminal cause. The Thunderbolts didn't take kindly to Zemo's betrayal and fought him until he escaped. In recent years, Zemo has had streaks of altruism, but they were always punctuated by selfish motivations. Even when he was trying to save the world, he was doing so because he wanted to rule it. We could spend all day talking about Zemo's comic book shenanigans, but let's jump over to his appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Appearing first in 2016's Captain America Civil War, portrayed by Daniel Bruhl, Zemo is set to play a big part in the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Zemo in the MCU was first seen killing Bucky Barnes' old Hydra handler, obtaining the code words necessary to trigger Barnes' Winter Soldier training. Zemo uses Barnes as a patsy for the Vienna bombing that kills King T'Chaka. His actions splinter the Avengers, leading to the Civil War as depicted in the film. Zemo goes on to kill Hydra's supply of super soldiers and shows Tony Stark footage of Bucky as the brainwashed Winter Soldier killing Stark's parents. This further divides Stark and Steve Rogers, just as Stark was going to patch things up. Why did Zemo feel the need to destroy the Avengers? Well, he was a Sokovian colonel in this iteration rather than a German baron. You may know Sokovia as that one fictional country the Avengers blew all to hell in their battle with Ultron. Well, Colonel Zemo lost his family in that battle and became a terrorist hell-bent on making superpowered individuals pay, particularly the Avengers. Once he felt satisfied he had destroyed the Avengers, in witnessing Stark and Rogers fighting over Bucky, he attempted suicide, only to be stopped and given over to the authorities by T'Challa, the new Black Panther. Zemo is set to return in the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week. It will be interesting to see what Kevin Feige and company have in store for this iconic villain. His portrayal in the MCU as an everyman reacting to the consequences of an extraordinary world is a far cry from his highbrow barony of the comics. One thing is for certain. His MCU iteration will almost definitely be a thorn in the side of Bucky, Sam, and anyone else associated with Captain America, just as he is in the comics. Thanks for watching today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash that notification button, and follow us on social media at WeThemNerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's it for us today. Be good to each other. Later, nerds.